Welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy that you're here. Today, I wanted to talk about this health journey that I'm on. So it's a really cold day. I'm just in this cozy sweatshirt. I've got some water. I've got my diffuser and my candle going behind me. And we're just gonna chat about kind of really the biggest reason that I wanted to start this channel and how I got here, where I'm going, how I'm trying to get there, and hopefully connect with people along the way. So I want to go kind of back to the beginning and just talk a little bit about how I got to where I'm at. First of all, I've always loved sweets. I've just always loved sweets, and kind of the epitome of this was when I was younger than 5, I know that, but there is a picture of me in the kitchen in the middle of the night. I had somehow gotten into our freezer and gotten an entire box of fudgesicles, opened them, and there were wrappers and chocolate all over the floor and all over me. And if that isn't just like describe me to a T, I don't know what does. So I've always had this love for food, and I was a chubbier kid, like around 8, 9. I was definitely a little bit chubbier. And then I started figure skating and leaned out pretty quickly. Figure skating was definitely a huge part of my life. I got out of school early to skate. I competed. I skated in the mornings before school, in the afternoons after school. Like, it was really my life, and I loved it. It was like one of the best times in my life, but going off on a tangent. Anyways, so I didn't have any issues as far as, weight or anything like that when I was skating, but I was definitely bigger, I would say, by comparison to other girls that I was competing against, just because I've always been a little bit more muscular. I've been a little bit, just bigger boned, I guess. Not fat by any means, just a little bigger. And I remember when I was in junior high, I was working with a choreographer. She choreographed my skating programs, and she gave me what essentially was diet pills. And I remember they were like these little packs. I took them 3 times a day with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they had fish oil in them, so they definitely had some good ingredients in them, but they were weight loss aids. And I did not need them at the time, but I was put on them, and I definitely used them as a crutch. And when I would run out, I would freak out. Like, I was like, I have to have these. I'm gonna get fat. Like, I can't live without them. And they were expensive. So I know I took those for at least a few years. And I think well into high school, I wanna say. And the other thing that kind of started happening around that time was I started working out as a supplement to skating, just to help to be a better athlete. And I kind of got this all or nothing mentality. So I would tell myself, okay, I'm going to eat really healthy like all week long, and then on Saturday or Sunday, I can have whatever I want. And that started this, either I'm really good or I'm really bad, and this idea or this way of binge eating. I definitely think that I developed some sort of a binge eating disorder at this point. Now, I've never been clinically diagnosed. I've been to therapists for binge eating, but I also, like I said, haven't been clinically diagnosed, so please, take that kind of with a grain of salt. This is just based on my own research and my own experience that I definitely developed disordered eating. That might be the better phrase for it. And so I was, through high school, I was, at a pretty normal weight and kind of just did your typical things. I still had these behaviors, but it wasn't, nothing to, I guess, at that point really be concerned about. I was just kind of a normal teenager trying to look good in my jeans. And then after high school, after college, through college, I was pretty normal weight as well, I would say. Through college, I do remember trying like Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers, different just like random diets just to try and lose a few pounds. Not that I needed to lose any significant amount of weight, but I think we're always trying to lose weight. It doesn't matter how thin you are or how good you look, like you always think you could look better, which is really sad. So I definitely remember doing those things. And then after college, I moved from my hometown about 2 hours away, and I was pretty miserable. I was pretty depressed. I basically worked and would go home and watch TV and eat all the food, pizza and candy and just like anything I could get my hands on just to help me feel better, kind of escape reality. And I definitely gained a significant amount of weight then. And after about 2 years, I moved back to my hometown. I got on another crazy diet that was crazy expensive, a bunch of pills, this insanely restrictive like way of eating, and I lost 40 pounds and it was great. I felt great, but I was living at home. My mom was cooking for me. Like, and again, I was on just an insane amount of pills and drinks and spent, thousands of dollars on this program that when I stopped doing it, I slowly started gaining weight again. So I would say fast forward to around the time I got married. Around that time, I wasn't doing anything crazy. I was, trying to work out. I was trying to eat pretty healthy, but I was still like gaining some weight, and I wasn't at a weight that I felt comfortable at. And at this time, I kind of started rebelling against the idea of diet culture and started trying to love my body the way it is. And I think I was really just exhausted from all of the dieting, all the yo-yo dieting, the gaining and the losing the weight. And I didn't have any major health problems, at least that I knew of at the time. And I was like, you know what, this is me. Like, if I'm in a bigger body, then that's fine. And I kind of just pushed away anything that had to do with weight loss and diets and, all of that, which I don't think was necessarily bad. Like, I obviously needed a break from this just years of the up and the down and the restriction and the guilt and all of that. And so I did that. And then starts our fertility journey. And this is kind of where the bulk, I think, of the damage begins, because we started our fertility journey, like actually going to a doctor towards the end of 2018. And at that time is when I was diagnosed with PCOS. So PCOS is basically a hormonal imbalance, and it puts me at risk for a lot of pretty scary things. First of all, it's so easy for me to gain weight due to insulin resistance. So my insulin receptors aren't working like they should. And so a lot of glucose, instead of being taken by the receptors and used for energy, they're being stored as fat, which is great. Fucking great, body. But anyways, so it's super easy for me to gain weight. It's a lot more difficult to lose weight with a hormonal imbalance. It causes infertility. Hello. It also puts me at a, like, I think it's like a double, like, I can't remember. It puts me at a higher risk for things like cardiovascular disease, diabetes, just all kinds of stuff that no one wants to deal with. High blood pressure, which I have, and I'll get more into, but so at the time I was like, okay, I have PCOS, like, you know, it is what it is. Like, this is why I've gained so much weight. Like, this is why I'm fat and whatever. And I think, again, I kind of used it as an excuse as to, you know, to eating crappy and just use it as a crutch. So for the past 3 years, not only have, you know, I had this diagnosis of PCOS, but I've also been pumping my body full of hormones and medications almost consistently for 3 years. And that in itself, I don't even know what kind of damage that has done, but I do know that I have gained more weight. So not only am I pumping myself full of all of these medications, but I'm also going through these highs and these lows of going through IVF, and I'm an emotional eater as well. And so I would use food as comfort when things weren't going well, which was a lot. And the other thing, and I think I kind of used this part as a crutch as well, is they say that when you're going through fertility treatment that you shouldn't lose too much weight, that you shouldn't exercise too hard because your reproductive system could kind of shut down if you're losing too much weight, because it thinks that your body's shutting down and it doesn't want you to reproduce if that's the case. They also say don't work out too hard because they want all of the blood, you know, pumping to your uterus, not out to all of your extremities. So all of this combined has led to kind of where we are today. Also, about 2 years ago, it was right around the time that I did my egg retrieval. I remember I came home from my egg retrieval and I just didn't feel good. I had these headaches and my heart was pounding, and I didn't, like, at first I was like, is this, you know, kind of a residual effect from the anesthesia from my egg retrieval? And I ended up going to an urgent care and getting my blood pressure checked. And I think my blood pressure at that time was like 150 over, I don't know, 105 or something. Like, it was high. So I was immediately put on blood pressure medication, and thankfully now my blood pressure is controlled with blood pressure medication, but I feel like I'm too young to have to be on blood pressure medication. Like, I want to be healthy. I want to get off blood pressure medication. You know, it's just a big red flag for me. And so that kind of brings me to where I'm at today. After our last transfer failed in August, we decided to take a pretty significant break because we were moving out of Colorado to Kansas City, and I really wanted to focus on my health. So that's what I've been doing. I wouldn't say that I've been perfect by any means, but I am really trying and, trying different things out and switching things up if something's not working. But as far as what I'm doing to try and, I'm not gonna say try, what I'm doing to lose weight and be healthier and balance my hormones and get off blood pressure medication, because those are the things that I want. It has nothing to do with aesthetics, looking good in a bathing suit, being any particular size of clothing. It has to do with me being healthy, not only for myself, but my future family. It has to do with this dream of having kids. That's the biggest dream that I've ever had. And it has to do with just feeling good in my body. And so those are my, my whys for going on this journey. And that's really why I wanted to start this channel. So as far as what I'm doing, and I feel like a lot of people that kind of talk about this kind of stuff, they talk about it in a past tense. So they're like, this is what I did to lose 30 pounds. This is what I did to balance my hormones. But I don't think there's enough content out there for people that are currently going through it and showing all of the, trials and tribulations, because a journey like this is hard. It is not easy, and I think so much content out there makes it seem so easy, like, oh yeah, this is what I did. I ate this many calories a day, or, I cut out these carbs, or, I walked every day. But to lose a significant amount of weight, and especially to balance your hormones, that is such a tough thing to do, and it's a journey. And I want to document every part of that journey. So as of right now, what I'm doing is pretty simple. I am tracking my calories and I'm working out. I'm trying to get 8,000 steps a day, and I'm doing some light lifting. Nothing too heavy, and I'll tell you why. When you have PCOS, one of the things that comes along with that is you can get high cortisol levels. And so women with PCOS tend to do better when they do lower impact, lower stress workouts, because if you do something like HIIT workouts or boot camp workouts, it can actually raise your cortisol, which is counterintuitive to losing weight. It will make you hold on to weight. And so I'm just trying to be really gentle, but move my body. And I know how important lifting is, and I love lifting weights. It just makes me feel strong and powerful, and I love it. So I do a little bit of that just to make sure that I'm, still gaining some muscle. I don't want to lose my muscle while I'm also losing fat. And then, like I said, walking. I also love walking. So I'm using this app. It's called the FitBody app. It's by Anna Victoria. And I love this app so much because you can track your food in there. It's super easy to track your food. You can either put your food in there or scan a barcode. You can do like a quick add, so you just add the calories real quick. It's just really easy to use the food app. I also love that she has workouts in there, and I've talked about this in a previous video, but she has any kind of workout that you could want, whether it's at home, at the gym, with equipment, without equipment, pregnancy, postpartum, yoga, like any kind of workout you could want, she has in the app. And you can also take progress photos and put them in the app, which I love. And then the thing that I love the most that I have never seen in any other fitness app or tracking app is you have access to a registered dietitian. This is in no way like sponsored. This is just me telling you my love for this app just because I have found it so beneficial. So you have access to a registered dietitian. All you do is email this particular email. You can ask her any question you want, and usually she gets back to you, I would say within like 1 to 3 days. And so I was chatting back and forth with her about my PCOS and, you know, how it's hard for me to get in protein and my calories and how I wasn't, you know, really seeing results the first couple weeks. So she had me send her screenshots of a couple of days of my eating and just asked me, you know, where I was at currently, what my goals were. And then she kind of adjusted some things for me or recommended some adjustments. And so I made those adjustments, and it's been helpful. And so I love that. I love that you have access to a registered dietitian and you can ask, you know, questions about these things that you may not know about. Because I think in today's world, there's so much information being thrown at you all the time about this is what you should do, this is what you should do, no, you should do this or you shouldn't do this, you know, cut out this food group, don't track calories, weigh yourself every day, don't weigh yourself. Like, it's just over fucking whelming. And so even for me, like, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. I have a bachelor's of science degree in health and exercise science. And like, I've gotten to this place. It's embarrassing, but you know, I have no words. Yeah, I love this app. It's really easy to use. It's, you know, cute and pretty, and it's just like fun to open it. And she also has like on-demand workouts, and she has different video guides and things like that. So it's just a really good overall app. It's like $16 a month, I think. But I think it's definitely worth it. And then I just want to mention 2 people that I love following. So Anna Victoria is the Fit Body app person. And then Love Sweat Fitness, I've really learned a lot from her. She has hypothyroidism, so she lost 40 pounds and healed her hormones as far as her hypothyroidism. And so she has taught me a lot about just how important adaptogens are, and you know, how damaging, you know, stressors, like just environmental stressors can be on your body, especially with a hormonal imbalance. And she also has great workouts. She has an app as well. And then the other person that I just discovered that I love, her name is Gracie Norton. I listened to a podcast with her on the Skinny Confidential podcast, and she has PCOS, and she lost 30 pounds and completely transformed her life. And so she just talks about all of her tips, tricks, hacks, you know, what she did. She shares recipes, and I am currently obsessed with her. So I definitely, you know, I'm following those 3 people. That was another side tangent, but let's get back to what I'm doing. So tracking calories, I am working out 8,000 steps a day, and that's pretty much it for right now. I am trying to nourish my body with healthy things. Again, I'm not perfect. I am still like have such a major sweet tooth, and I definitely fall off the wagon with that sometimes, but progress, not perfection. I strive to be better every single day. And then the other thing, I take some supplements, which I'll probably share in a different video, just the supplements that I'm taking for PCOS and fertility and all of that. But the other thing that I'm going to do, and I don't know what the outcome of this will be, but I have a consultation with an integrative medicine doctor at the beginning of January. This is one thing that Gracie Norton did at the beginning of her journey, was she saw an integrative medicine doctor. She got her hormones checked via blood work. She did a really in-depth food sensitivity test. And so I would like to do that, because when you're trying to lose weight with a hormone imbalance like PCOS, I think there could be some additional complications, or it's not just as simple as tracking your calories. So we'll see. It's very, very expensive. So I don't know how that will play out, but I would really like to do it, because I want to be healthy. And again, this is going to be kind of a trial and error. So one thing that I've already stopped doing that I was recently or previously doing was I was weighing myself every single day. And this was something that I was told to do by the Noom app. So I was using Noom for a little bit, and Noom was, basically they said, step on a scale every day. It's not that you expect to be losing weight every day. It's that basically they want you to get over the anxiety of stepping on the scale, which at the time I was like, okay, that makes sense. So I was stepping on the scale every day and I was logging it. But then I got to a point where, like, even if I was staying within my calories, I was like seeing the scale creep up a little bit each day. And I was like, okay, no, this is not good for my mental health. So what I'm doing instead is progress photos and weighing myself on the same day once a month. And that's how I'm gonna track everything. So that's kind of what I'm doing currently and why I'm here. I have a long ways to go. It's, not gonna be a quick journey. I know that. I'm really hoping to be able to start going in for fertility treatment in the spring. So between now and then, I have maybe 4 months or so. And I'm just gonna do the best that I can and just keep learning, keep striving to be better and healthier, and hopefully on the road to healing some pretty lifelong damage that I've done to myself, and healing this hormone imbalance, and hopefully, be healthy and happy and have the babies that me and Wes have always dreamed of. So I will keep you updated on this journey through YouTube, through Instagram, and I hope that you'll, come along, let me know if you're on a similar journey. If you have any tips for me, I'm open to everything, but I would love to connect with you, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.
I don't need no one to say you're complicated.